sector to become, to have their lives in standard. And then my position now, or my proposition, is based on the international labor recommendation 204, which is concerned about the transition of informal sector, both economic units and labor, to formalize. Second, my reference is really the the ILO Centenary Declaration of 2019, which is really for the future of work, to have social justice for all types of workers. And the third one I am basing really is the 19th and 21st ICLS, which is really very important to tackle with. I'm calling for the PSA to come out already with the definition or statistical definition, the measurement of all types of workers in the informal employment, including now the economic units. And there is a new statistical definition which really clarifies now better than before, and it will be more clearer for the policy makers, for the program developers, and even for us advocates to have now distinction of services between informal employment and even the informal sector. There are informal sector who are considered employed when they are working for profits, and an informal sector or community-based who are only producing for their own consumption. So it matters much, especially in the design of the programs of the government. And I just finished the course of that and the item. And the next one is, of course, the just transition guidelines. Many of the programs of the government in our country is on environmental aspect. It's more on reaction. They are all reactions, while the just transition guidelines promotes or will complement the recent programs of the government under the nationally determined contribution. It will promote that all the societies, workers, private sector, communities will help the government in reducing the global climate to 1.5 degrees centigrade or even lower than. So it is really very complementation to our recent programs of environment in the Philippines. And for me, how can skills training, lifelong learning be made possible? Number one is to tackle the social exclusion of the vet. Gender inclusion, affirmative action, etc. And of course, develop digital marketing apps. I will not repeat the inputs already of especially the developing partners to manage time, but I will focus on our perception on how we can help the Trabaho para sa Bayan plan reach really the underserved or the targeted sector under the law. Then address the substantial barriers to participation in informal training, formal training, and informal apprenticeships to acquire skills. I will not make details the different institution or barriers, but I will propose solutions. Number one, the government should increase funds to improve access to education, skills, and lifelong learning of informal sector operators, even the SMEs and the informal economy workers across different divides, different sectors. Improve the targeting of beneficial informal sector operators, right beneficiaries for rights and projects, and reducing costs by reviewing the design and availability of training. Letter C, incentivize both employers and workers by making training provisions suitable. There are plenty of training provisions, but they are not suitable to the employers and the workers, and that disincentivize them. Letter D, improved access to training and delivery models among demographic groups, often driven by cultural norms, stereotyping, and heterogeneity of training programs in both formal and informal. So there should be distinction to encourage informal workers who are largely high school graduates or even elementary, so that they will not be discouraged if they will be part with the formal sector. Off-the-job training, ensuring awareness of decent work requirements and the rights and responsibilities as a worker. Government increased funds to subsidize the training needs, such as subsidies, because they cannot afford, the informal sector cannot afford. And then added to it is the lost income opportunity once they are in training. So if they lost the income opportunity, there's no food in their table. And that is one that discourages them. And then formal recognition of informally acquired skills or prior learning. So there are a lot of skills also required or acquired by this informal sector. And I hope that this can be recognized also to advance them into employment, either to employment, the formal sector, or to improvement or increase or resilience of the businesses. Improve returns from skills training. Of course, from the skills training, there should be really a formal jobs so that they will be encouraged. And for those who will decide to go into entrepreneurship, there should be improved access to credit, capital, and market. Improve basic skills, a second chance education program to help reduce illiteracy and training dropouts. Improve policy coherence by aligning in industrial, trade, environment, and enterprise development policies during the adoption.
Ayaw tayong pakainin ni SR. Ni haba na naman.
It was approved or admitted by all the almost 5,000 participants that our national legislations, not only in the Philippines, but in other 107 member states of Ireland, are very
Talagang ganyan kahaba eh, no?
towards the traditional employer-employer relationship. So therefore, there should be a need of reviews of legislations, and there should be a need of making them coherent. In our project before, under the DOLI, UNDP, ILO, and PUCP, Empowering Women and Child Workers, we were able to gather 147 laws that should have affected the lives of the informal sector and the child labor, but it never came to us efficiently. And then, of course, I'm glad that there is already a mention of solopreneur, and that would address the MSME structure, now including now those with a threshold. If we follow the Republic Act 8425 of the Ordinance Law, the threshold of the enterprise, the marginalized enterprise, is 150,000 and below. And then, of course, security of
parang isang oras yung input.
here with me, vendors, tricycle drivers, and other group in the informal sector. They really need security on their workplaces. And not only security of workplaces, but the workers themselves have to be safe, reducing now the law on gender-based violence. Then we need structural reforms. Our government has plenty of agencies, but the informal sector has no dedicated agency to take charge of that. It is a heterogeneous group. We have the economic units, we have the workers, mix all under one bureau of informal of DOLI, Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns, who is only up to the provision of livelihood programs, but never on the policies that affects our lives. So we really need structural reform to consider or to have a dedicated office to take charge of both the informal economic units and the informal sector. And then, of course, under the just transitions, I hope the government will have a affordability of energies because it's very expensive. Then for one last, for social protection, because there have been common pronouncements about social protection, I think we need to determine now or to distinguish now the contributory social protection, which is the SSS, PhilHealth, and PhilHealth, and the non-contributory social protection. Because right now, while we gain before the SSS, PhilHealth, and PhilHealth, the current laws are really very expensive. Our issue is no longer lack of access to social protection, but our issue now is unaffordability of PhilHealth and SSS. But even we are happy to make it. But those are the two last things under the social protection. There should be this distinction of contributory social protection because our issue of the informal sector and probably the other groups cannot afford anymore. And there should be clarification also as to who are the beneficiaries, the right beneficiaries for the right programs for social protection. Thank you.
Oh, that was a lot to unpack. I think Mondays will require a separate panel discussion. But thank you. I think there's a lot of recommendations that government has to take note of for the implementation of the TPP. And I think these recommendations should fit into the interagency